I'm Colin.
And I'm Megan.
And this is
Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter.
Brought to you by Time to Pet. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today we are so happy to have Susan Anderson, owner of The Pet Gal, on to discuss what it's been like to be in business for over 10 years. We also talk about how it's been her expanding to multiple locations, adding services year after year, and managing all of that chaos and keeping everybody on the same track and everything organized. We also have a really good conversation about what it's like for her to navigate all of the different states' rules and regulations for her to be able to operate. So let's dive right in.
Hi, Colin. Thank you for having me. My name is Susan Anderson. I'm the owner and CEO of The Pet Gal. I have an administrative background in telecom, baking, and semiconductors. However, my passion is pets. I quit the corporate world to follow my dream of owning a positive-based business, attending to the welfare and advocacy of animals, and I never looked back.
That's quite the resume that you have there. What really was it about that decision to jump into the world of pet care? What kind of triggered that for you?
Well, I didn't care for my last corporate job. I wasn't motivated. I wasn't challenged, and I really wanted to do something that I loved and get paid for it. I needed to follow a passion, and a friend of mine started a dog walking and pet sitting business a year earlier in California, and she was amazingly successful and clearly was enjoying what she was doing. After a discussion with my husband and future business partner, I made the decision to leave that mundane corporate job for the world of animals and the freedom of being an entrepreneur. Oh. It was one of the best decisions of my life. And it's not only allowed me to do what I love, but also to work with clients and amazing pets.
Yeah, this world is definitely, it's anything but mundane. So you took the right.
Right.
And how long ago was that?
Wow, that was 10 years ago.
10 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
That's great. And so thinking back 10 years ago, what do you remember maybe your first client or first couple clients that you had?
Oh, yes. I was so nervous about that first meet and greet. I showed up with a leather portfolio that I got from my banking job. You could say I was not dressed for pet sitting success. The client even asked me if I've ever done this before. Oh. Well, I've come a long way since that experience, and he did hire me.
Oh, that's great. Well, that just goes to show, there's always a starting point, and everybody's nervous about it because it's so like, oh goodness, are they going to like me? Or, am I doing this right? Am I asking the right questions? And you grow and you learn.
Absolutely.
So, you're 10 years into this, you've obviously got a lot of passion about this. Where would you say your passion for animals came from?
Well, early on, I had experiences that taught me the value of unconditional love from pets and animals. As a little girl, I brought home stray bunnies, cats, and dogs. I spent hours during the summer breaks looking for critters under rocks, exploring the giant creek, which is really not so giant woods behind my childhood house, looking for turtles, and I would dig through window wells in search of frogs and critters. And then in my teen years, I explored my lifelong interest in equines and also volunteering for local rescue groups in my community. And we've always had wonderful family pets, and I always took full responsibility for their care. And our beloved golden retriever Skull, who arrived the same year I was born, we formed a special friendship lasting 15 years. So I think he was my first love. So I knew I wanted to dedicate my life to the care and advocacy of animals.
Do you currently have any pets in your family?
I certainly do. We have a golden, a rescue golden from Central Texas named Jake. He's about 9 years old, 10 years old. We don't know since he's a rescue. And then we have a cat, Tommy, who actually came with our rental house. Yeah. So it took a little time, but I slowly got him to come inside, and now he's sleeping on our couch right now. So he's very happy.
What kind of services do you currently offer?
Well, pet sitting is our most popular. We also offer dog walking, pet taxi, and wedding pet attendant services.
Did you start off offering all of those, or how did that offering list change over time?
We started with pet sitting and dog walking, and then the pet taxi arose when a client had the need. So we decided to get involved in that. And then the wedding pet attendant services, I've got a story for that, how that started as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead. How that's a very interesting service and one I don't think many people know about. I certainly was kind of surprised to see that. So how did that get started?
Well, it was completely organic. A client, now a friend of the Pet Gal, was planning her wedding. She approached me and asked how we could help allow her first love, Annie, a feisty, lovable Yorkie, and Cornflake, the couple's new golden rescue, partake in their wedding. And after all, dogs are our family, and we dig it. So without hesitation, I said yes. I completely fell in love with the idea and had further conversations with my business partner. And so we had to make this niche service part of our growing business. So now, over 75 weddings later, we've hired a wedding pet attendant coordinator. We have 4 attendants. And to quote our motto, dogs in weddings, what's not to love?
I'm curious as to what a typical day looks like for a wedding pet attendant. I'm sure it's different depending on how they want them involved, but what does wedding day look like?
Well, if you've ever been to a wedding, I'm sure you're aware it's very fast paced and couples have little time to oversee the details. Couples love this service. It's a unique way to include their dogs in their ceremony, photos, and reception without having to rely on friends and family. To ensure all goes according to plan, a wedding pet attendant arrives to the venue 1 to 2 hours early to check in with the planners and the couple. They always hydrate, potty, and exercise the dog, so they're familiar with the venue as well. Prior to the ceremony, our attendant dresses the dog with any flower collars provided by the couple's florist. They always absolutely have to be photo ready.
Yeah.
They greet guests as they arrive, and guests absolutely love the surprise.
Yeah.
And the attendant joins the wedding party to walk down the aisle and usually passes the dog off to either the best man or the maid of honor. Then after the nuptials, the wedding pet attendant assists with photos, joins the reception, and then at the end of the night, they chauffeur the dog back to the couple's home, typically for overnight pet care.
That's really involved. The pet attendant is constantly active and doing something the entire day. Then that sounds really intensive.
Yes, and just a super attention to detail, and of course, to make sure that everything flows smoothly. We're working with an animal, so as you know, they can be unpredictable.
That's shocking. Actually, no. Unpredictability can be sometimes the name of the game, no matter how well trained or how familiar they are with the venue or people around them. So that's
exactly.
That's a pretty unique service. I'm curious about some of the animals that you've cared for and kind of maybe some of the more interesting pets that you've cared for over these years.
Once I was asked to water a worm compost, and that was interesting. And another time I was asked to water a toad that took up residence in a flower pot on the client's front porch. That was odd.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And then my favorite, though, is Nilo, a sweet little bird. He's an African silverbill who's very friendly and social. He loves to ride on my shoulders while I tend to my chores and flutter around. And he literally makes me feel like a Disney princess. When
people tend to think of pet sitting and dog walking, we tend to think of just the furry creatures in our lives. But I love, that you've done everything from worms to birds.
Right.
I really love your website, and I'm curious. On there, you've got a pretty in-depth FAQ, and I'm curious what prompted your decision to have that on there.
Well, hiring a pet sitting company is an important decision. We want our clients to vet us as much as we vet them. So we like to have all the anticipated questions answered up front. And so that way the clients have a full understanding and expectation of what type of service we provide and what our processes are like, what they can expect from the onboarding process to the visit. So we just want our clients to be well informed, to make sure that we're the right fit for them.
It gets really at the heart of that is you're setting expectations, not just for you yourself or members of your team, but as you said, more importantly, for the clients, so that they know that process. So nothing seems like it jumps out at them or nothing surprises them from start to finish.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The other part of your website that I really enjoyed was you have a dedicated tab called Smiles with a ton of adorable fur babies. And I love that. And what about that section is so unique to you, or having that on, the importance of having that on your website?
I'm sure like you'll be scrolling through your phone and you'll see all this news of the day that does not make you smile. So, yes. So immediately I can pop over to a website or, a favorite Instagram page of animals, and it immediately makes you smile. It makes you happy. We're actually running an Instagram and Facebook section called Happy Face, hashtag Happy Face. So I think we're just spreading the love, spreading the joy, spreading the smiles. That's our goal.
Yeah, well, and you've got the world's best subjects right in front of you every day to help spread that. So that's great.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Facebook and Instagram. When a lot of people think of those, they start thinking of marketing and social media outreach. The next question that comes to my mind is, how do you find most of your clients?
Well, most of our clients find us, Colin, from web searches.
Yeah. Well played. Well done. Yes. Okay.
I'm grateful that our talented in-house marketing team keeps our SEO and our social media on point, which has been huge for the growth of our business. We average 5 new leads a day. We also rely on referrals from both of our clients and our pet sitters. Participating in local events and partnering with local pet stores, vets, rescues, dog, cat boarding facilities, daycare has been beneficial as well. And I'm excited to share that we recently started partnering with a local company to offer discounts for their employees. And also, we've had several news features and popular industry podcasts like Pet Sitter Confessional.
Oh, well, yeah, that's great. Oh, my goodness. You mentioned joining with local companies to offer discounts to their employees. I've never heard of somebody doing that before. How did that get started?
Well, actually, a very popular venue in Austin reached out to us asking if we would like to partner with them. So that was very flattering. I don't know if you're familiar with Alamo Draft House.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're offering their employees discounted pet care, and in return, they'll offer us quarterly vouchers to hand off to our employees. So we're very excited about that partnership.
Yeah, and the word that kept coming over and over through that was local groups, local events, local companies. You're really digging into the community and becoming a member of that through each of those processes that you've got going on there.
Absolutely. That's very important to us. We're small, local, and we want to support other local companies, not just within our industry, but outside of that as well.
Yeah, that's great. One of the services that you offer is dog walking. And I think when many of us consider doing dog walking, we immediately think of, okay, how can I scale this and start offering pack walks? But I think you've chosen to stay away from those. And I'm curious why you currently don't offer that.
Well, we believe it's more important to provide that individual attention to each pet in our care, not to mention the safety factor for our dogs and walkers alike.
Short, simple, to the point. I love that.
Yeah. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, no, but it's, you have a clearly defined reason, and that's just part of your core values. And that speaks volumes about the kind of service and what you guys are really trying to do.
Yes.
Now, I'm assuming with as busy as you're sounding, it's not just you doing all of this, and you've got a pretty robust team around you. Can you tell us about the team that you have?
We have over 60 in Austin, Colorado Springs, and Kona combined, and growing.
So you're pretty spread out geographically. How did that happen?
Well, we started in Austin, just myself, and we quickly grew, and we needed to quickly expand. So we expanded first to Colorado Springs. We had a dependable, wonderful caregiver who was moving to the Colorado Springs area and asked if we could potentially start a business up there. So we immediately jumped on that, and we started marketing, and quickly thereafter we started getting phone calls and started expanding and hiring more in that service area. And then my husband and I opted to move to Hawaii And we weren't sure if there would be a need here or not, but getting engrossed in the community and talking with other people in the pet care industry, there absolutely is a need. So we decided to start here as well. And we now we have 4 employees working for us here.
What's really neat about that story is that the business kind of followed you around and your employees as they kind of decided to move out and spread out across, that it was just kind of happened very organically.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And we're fortunate to, like you, to have the opportunity to grow the business in any direction we want to go. And we've really been enjoying the experience. And starting over in different communities is like starting the business from scratch again. It's really exciting and it's motivating.
Yeah, and you did that remotely with, from at the time from Austin into Colorado Springs. What was that experience like? That's a pretty large leap.
Yes. So we had to have everything set up in the background. We had to get our web presence. We had to, have our SEO in line so we could find new clients. Our sitters were on foot visiting veterinarian hospitals and local pet stores just to get the word out. So, it took some time to develop, but we stuck with it and we're now successful there.
Yeah, and all because you had a motivated and dedicated, employee move up there and want to continue providing those services.
Exactly.
Speaking of employees, what was it like when you first hired your employees, and what was that trigger for you? Why did you decide to bring somebody else on?
Well, like all solo sitters, I was close to burning out. I'm sure you've heard that before. It took a long time to realize I needed to let go of that control and trust someone else to represent our company. And this decision has led to continued the growth we see today. So I was very happy I got out of that space and moved forward.
Have you heard about Time to Pet? Chris-Ann from Raining Cats and Dogs has this to say.
Becoming a Time to Pet client has been a game changer for us. We can give our pet services clients real-time, cloud-based information they never imagined they'd be interested in. And most importantly, to me personally, I can better manage my company and look forward to more. And not a small thing, Time to Pet is responsive to my requests for new features and modifications to existing ones.
If you are looking for new pet sitting software for your business, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of Pet Sitter Confessional get 50% off their first 3 months when they sign up at timetopet.com/confessional. Was that an easy thing? Was that an easy decision for you to make? You were feeling the burnout, but part of that is feeling like you're giving up control sometimes or giving up ownership of the clients that you care for.
It was a struggle. At the time, I felt like only I could give the service that our customers expected and their pets deserved. And letting that go was so freeing for me and allowing that trust and knowing that there's a lot of people out there who really enjoy caring for animals and want to see to their best interest.
That's huge because it is. You do take ownership and you do have that feeling of I know I'm providing the best care, and it's really hard to trust that somebody else can as well. Did you have some training or oversight during that transition of the people that you were bringing on?
Our pet gals and guys undergo a rigorous interview process to verify they're a right fit for our team and match our positive approach to pet care. So we have a thorough online application, phone interview, in-person interview, reference and background checks and hands-on training. Colin, one of my favorite vetting processes is watching the personal videos submitted by our applicants. You can really get a good feel for their personalities there.
Oh, whoa! That's an interesting step. What do those typically look like or include?
Yeah, well, it's usually in the sitter's home or in their backyard. And the funny aspect is they usually include their animals. and one applicant had a goat who wanted to take over and be the star of the video and just kept like head bumping him and just being goofy. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a very unique way to just start looking at some personality characteristics and see how they handle situations or how they choose to present themselves in a very different setting than a typical interview style.
Exactly. And it gives me an opportunity, since I'm remote, to see how they would interact with a client at a meet and greet.
Where did that idea come from?
Well, since we did have Colorado Springs as our first location, and I couldn't always make it up there to do interviews, and several weeks out of the year, we decided we should do videos, so that way we have that vetting process in place. We can get a full idea of who we're talking to and how they interact with their pets.
Yeah, using that wonderful world of technology to make that process a lot simpler.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. So you're operating in 3 very different locations with a lot of people working under you and around you. How do you keep all of that organized? That's a big question, I know. But
as you can imagine, it's challenging to stay on top of every aspect of running a small business. Early on, we had the mindset to keep the business processes scalable and repeatable. We utilize scheduling software, which includes an app for our clients and our sitters. We have a CRM to better manage and process leads. We have in-house marketing and an IT department. That's huge. A hiring coordinator, a wedding pet attendant coordinator, and a stellar scheduling team to do the day-to-day tasks. They work escalations along with customer and sitter support. And finally, proven policies and processes.
A lot of the what you were talking about there is really, you hire support and administrative people to come alongside you and start handing off those tasks to other people and go, you know what, this is something that you can handle and you can handle and you can handle, so that not any one person is trying to keep all the balls up in the air at one time.
Yes, because I've been there, and it's a challenge. So, yeah. so giving ownership of those roles to stellar individuals is really helpful for our growth.
Typically, when we think of hiring somebody, it's, I need to hire another pet sitter. But as you mentioned, you manage to help keep it all organized by hiring people to do, office work and scheduling and marketing and IT, and all of those are equally as important as the in the field caregivers.
Right. Yeah. And our sitters, and dog walkers, they come from all walks of life. Professional dog trainers, vet techs, animal rescue volunteers, retired police detectives, social workers, MBA, PhD students. But they all have a passion for animals. And every pet sitter is required to continue their education by attending animal behavior classes, renewing their pet CPR and first aid certification annually. This hiring education process means our clients are partnering with our professionalism and smart, motivated, and highly responsible pet sitters and dog walkers. Our office handles all the aspects of running the business. So we do support, marketing, provide insurance coverage, so our sitters can focus on caring for pets and developing relationships with our clients. Then we vet our clients carefully, so sitters have a positive work experience and don't walk into any uncomfortable environments. And we're continually growing, so our sitters can rely on dependable income. We also have a solid foundation and great reputation in all of our service areas. And our pet gals and guys are proud to represent our business. Yeah, absolutely. Especially with all that support behind them, it makes their job easy at that point. In some instances. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So after 10 years and thinking about the employees that you have on staff and the pet care professionals that you work with, how do you retain the all-star, the great ones, to keep coming back and be with you year after year?
Yeah, and I think that support is huge. They know that they can depend on our office and our team to help them through challenging situations, whether it's a lockout from a client home. We have an 800 number that rings through several people until someone picks up. So that way they can get immediate help in a situation, whether it's an animal that needs medical attention or a lockbox won't open. Things of that nature. And then also, as I mentioned, our reputation, they are proud to work for an organization that's well rated in all of our service areas. So that way that they know that they'll continue to get work. And when it is slow, that they'll know that there will be opportunities in the future. So, we have a down period and, of course, very, very busy periods. Having this established, well-grounded business, I think it really helps them know that there's stable income and support.
Yeah, that support is so huge, because that's a big piece of the puzzle that can be hard for them to provide on their own. and that is a lot of work. And so whenever you have someone to come alongside with and work for that offers those and says, hey, we'll take care of all this so you can focus on the care, that really eases the burden on any one given sitter.
Absolutely. So they can really focus on what the client wants them to do is their pets and of course their client's home.
One of the other services that you mentioned was pet taxi. And this is a very interesting service as well to me. And I'm curious how that service got started and how that works for you guys.
Yeah, well, very early on, I had a client who couldn't get away from work, but had to pick her pet up at a doggy daycare facility, and they were due to close before she was able to arrive, and otherwise her dog would have been boarded overnight. So she reached out to me, and I said, absolutely, I'll pick up your dog. So, and then from then on, like, well, here's an opportunity for a service that's in demand by our clients. So let's put it out there, and so. We transfer pets not only, from the doggy daycare, but to necessary vet appointments, to boarding and to grooming facilities.
That's with such a unique service as that is. What kind of learning curve or maybe unexpected thing has come up through offering a pet taxi service?
Not fully vetting the pets. I'll never make that mistake again. I picked up an excitable lab who just broke out of a 2-week boarding stay. He knocked down the gate in the rear of my MDX. He climbed over the seats, scratched my interior, and then did a full head shake, spraying drool all over me and all over the windshield. That was enough to make me. I had to set up a process for that.
So what does that look like? What takeaways did you bring from that experience?
Yes. First of all, sometimes circumstances come up where their clients they're not vetted, but they need that service. So we try to set something up in the future or prior to needing that service, so we can do a meet and greet and meet the dog and have an expectation about what the dog's behavior is like. And then secondly, having my car equipped properly. I had a gate to keep the dog secure in the back of the car, but it wasn't enough. So having some sort of harness system that attaches to a seatbelt, that's something that I learned that we should do in the future. Also, now that we've been doing this for some time, we bought a Ford van, and that we use also for chauffeuring dogs for our wedding pet attendant services. And then we're in the process of installing secure crating system to keep the pet safe during transport.
So that was my next question of how you keep all the dogs in, safe and secure. If you used harnesses or if you went with more of a crate system.
Yeah, so we do it differently in Austin since we have that van. The crate system is going to work perfectly once we get it fully installed. And then, actually in Colorado, we're not allowed to provide transport for pets. They have some pretty strict laws regarding that. And then in Hawaii, we have a harness system. So we have the dogs are required to wear a harness, and we have a seatbelt attachment that attaches directly to that harness. So they have some mobility, but if we were to stop short or the dog was excited and wanted to move about, we have some control there, and they won't get hurt.
Yeah. You mentioned that in Colorado, the rules and regulations were very different. And I hear that not just Colorado, but that's a thing that comes up a lot with pet caregivers is the rules and regulations where I live won't allow XYZ.
Right.
What's that been like for you navigating 3 different states and their rules and regulations?
Yes. And we strive to be transparent. We want to follow the local laws and rules. We want to make sure that our clients know that we have studied up on the rules in the community to make sure we're doing everything correctly. So yeah, that's been a challenge, navigating and reading up on all the laws and requirements for each service area. But yeah, Colorado was interesting, and they're assuming we're agricultural. That's the route I think that they're going down. And you can transport animals, but you have to pay. Each sitter would have to have a license, and we just opted not to provide that service.
Sure. And that speaks to that sometimes you're going to run up against rules and regulations that just maybe aren't worth the battle to try and overcome. And so that may dictate some of the services that you want to provide in an area. It's not just where's the demand, but also what are the hurdles to overcome some of those regulations?
Right. And fortunately in Texas, there's quite a bit of advocacy for changing the laws for animal rescue, animal rights, tethering and whatnot. So fortunately, Texas is really great to work with. Hawaii is another challenge. There's especially the big island of Hawaii. It's not typically pet friendly. So there's teams here that are working to make the island more pet friendly. So we're getting involved with that as well.
Yeah, and again, that speaks back to being, investing in the community and partnering with other people to make the lives of pets better for everybody.
Yes, that's a great end goal.
Yeah. When you think about, the services, the variety of services that you offer and your experience over the past 10 years, I'm curious if you have any products or services that you enjoy using or recommend that other sitters be using if they're not already.
A great resource that I want to share that we found that works well for our business is a course on Udemy. It's called Dog CPR: First Aid Safety for Pet Pros and Dedicated Owners. I like it because it's comprehensive and it's affordable, and most importantly, our sitters find it very educational and useful. Another is scheduling software, Time to Pet. I can't say enough good things about the platform. It's really changed our business model and it's been really helpful. And again, going back to keeping us organized, and communication between our team and the sitters and the clients has been valuable. And then a simple tool that I always use when I do pet sitting or dog walking is a simple runner's belt. It's a must to hold the essentials like your phone, poop bags, air horn, treats, keys, and allows you to be hands-free during walks and pet sits.
No, that's great. Yeah, because a lot of times you start thinking of where do I put all of this stuff? And, and just something as simple as runner's belt keeps it all organized in one location. So
and it's not a fanny pack. It's a runner's belt.
Okay, yeah,
just to clarify.
Yeah, runner's belt. Okay, cool. Well, Susan, thank you so much for sharing your story of growth, expansion, and how you've moved to different locations and things that you've learned and how you provide continual support for your clients. And I know a lot of people are going to have further questions and want to reach out and get in touch. How can people send you questions or follow along with all the stuff that you guys have going on?
Oh, yeah. Well, first, I want to say thank you for inviting me to talk, and it's been my pleasure. And if anyone wants to reach out, they can find us at thepetgal.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Susan.
Oh, my pleasure.
There were really two big takeaways that I had from my conversation with Susan. The first was the importance of hiring somebody to do something that will help you grow and expand. And most of the hires that she discussed were all about support. That when you have the support, when you have the back end taken care of, your walkers, your sitters will be able to better focus on their job, and you will be able to better focus on yours as well. And then the second one was what makes you smile, especially in times like we are going through right now. We all need something in our life that can help us smile or remember what it's like to do that. So whether it's cute puppies, whether it's hanging out with friends or getting in touch with family, remember to take those moments. Remember to take those time to keep yourself on a good path mentally, spiritually, physically, to make sure that you're taken care of and that those around you know that you're well. And then if you see someone around you struggling, to reach out to them and make sure that they are okay. Give them the support, give them the tools, and lend an ear or a helping hand if they need it. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We'd like to thank Time to Pet for sponsoring us and making it possible. Head on over to timetopet.com/confessional to find out more. We've been asked how people can help support the show, and if you have found this episode or any of our now 88 episodes valuable or informational, please share it with somebody who you would think would also benefit from it. Thank you all again so much, and we'll be back again soon.